Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me today for a roundtable discussion about our journey to medicine. Between us, we've got a wealth of knowledge about ups and downs of the admission process, balancing work with everyday life, as well as some tips and tricks we've gained along the way, right? Anson?
Yeah.
So let's start with you, because you're a final year. What drew you to medicine?
Ooh, okay. So I've always been one to get involved and talk to people and be very social and outgoing in like a kind of that kind of atmosphere. But it wasn't always like that, and medicine gave me that kind of channel and that avenue to make it productive as well. I think we all have something in us. We always want to help. We want to be involved and give something to society. But I think medicine gives us that very kind of feasible opportunity to do so on a regular basis.
Yeah.
It's more like the service that it provides to others, and in a structured but intimate way. And I think that's why I decided, because of the way I am, I think I would thrive in something like medicine. So far it's been going okay, so yeah.
Yeah. What about you guys? Something similar to that?
So kind of, but I've volunteered with St John Ambulance from a very young age, and from that, as I got older, I got to meet more and more healthcare professionals, and just hearing about what they do and how they get to help so many different people in lots of different ways.
Yeah.
I found that really interesting, and as I learnt more, I was like, well, I'm kind of doing little bits already, why could I not actually do it for the rest of my life?
Yeah, so what I've drawn from you guys is that you found something you're good at, and you found a career that fits you to help you develop that and continue being good at it, right? What about you, Kirthi?
So my dad's a doctor, so it's kind of like it's always been in the household as an idea. And then I kind of did some work experience around it because I knew that, like, for me, biology was just so interesting at school. So I knew I kind of wanted to go into that sort of area. I did some like lab work and stuff like that, and that's just not really my skill set. I'm similar to you, and I like kind of being with people and helping people and that sort of thing. So I did some like healthcare work experience as well in dentistry and stuff, and eventually I came to my decision that I wanted to study medicine.
Yeah, so I'm kind of in a similar boat because although both my parents aren't doctors, they worked in the NHS as like a nurse and on the admin side. So I guess I was really exposed to healthcare and medicine from a young age.
Yeah.
And I was just drawn to it. I couldn't really describe it, but work experience was really what did it for me. Did you guys have like a single moment, Shakira, where you thought, this is it?
Yeah, I don't know actually. Like you said, I have always enjoyed biology. I've also always been really good at maths. But then I think it was something that I don't actually want to be doing this for the rest of my life. So I really enjoy maths, but I don't know if I want to be working kind of in that sector for the rest of my life. But I don't actually, there was nothing that actually stands out at me as to why I particularly wanted to do it. A bit like what you said, I think my personality kind of suits the role. But yeah, I think I was near 10, and I just remember coming home and saying to my dad, I want to become a doctor. And then he was like, okay, this kid just came out of the blue. And then, yeah, I guess I just kind of rolled with it. But I've always been interested in like biology and the human body and stuff like that. But I wouldn't say there was a particular light bulb moment that I can remember per se.
Yeah. Did you guys have any experiences, like work experience that probably solidified that, yes, I want to be a doctor?
Yeah, I think, and a piece of advice from what you just said, for future doctors would be aim for something long term. And I think, like you were saying at St John's, etc., it gives you plenty of opportunities over the weeks, exposures, and specific moments that you remember.
Yeah.
It's not about necessarily the quantity, but doing it long term, you develop that relationship with your work and patients that you see. And for me, it was at a hospice. And I remember doing that in year 13. And there was a moment where a patient was terminally ill. And I mean, the hospice in many ways is a very sad place.
Yeah.
But the amount of like positivity that she had, simply because anyone who interacted with her, she would always leave a smile on their face. So you're thinking that as a doctor, you're there for the patients, which you are.
Yeah.
But often they can do so much for you as well. And, and the kind of interactions you have, you can take a lot out of it and apply to your own life, the lessons you learn every day in something so intimate. So yeah, for me, it was that lady who was terminally ill, and the positive impact she had on my life made me realize if I can be there for people like her, in more ways than one as a doctor. So I think that's what that really did it for me and sparked that bit of passion.
Yeah.
I think the drive was always there, but I became more passionate after my time at the hospice. So.
Yeah. As second years, you're closer to work experience than we are as fourth and fifth years. Did you have similar experiences?
So obviously I did a little bit of work in a care home and seeing patients, and exactly what you were saying. It's like seeing that sometimes people are so lonely that sometimes just that little bit of talking can really help. But also did formal work experience in a GP practice and with a breast surgeon. So very different, but just sort of seeing how a doctor thinks and what a day could look like for them. And obviously, as I'm sure you guys are all aware, every day is different, but just what it could be like and what you could get up to if you chose to be a GP or a surgeon.
Yeah, just adding on to that, like I would just say for future doctors of tomorrow, if you're trying to get work experience, don't be disheartened because it's so difficult. So try and get in things that are sort of related to medicine or just working with people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I worked with Brownies, like Girl Guiding for like 3 years, and that was really nice, just mentoring students, especially ones with like learning disabilities and stuff. You can learn a lot from like just experiencing what it's like to be with different people and caring for different people. So that's something I'd say.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point to bear in mind, that you don't need hospital work experience or GP work experience, because they are really difficult to get into, and there is an element of nepotism involved there. But just using any experience and spinning it in a way that actually relates to medicine, like you said, people skills is so important. Talking to people, socialising, things like that. And I did my work experience in a care home for an extended period of time, so basically what you said. And it was really difficult at first to know how to talk to the elderly, because I don't know, I've never really encountered elderly people besides my grandparents. So I built that skill and I understood what it takes to be a doctor, maybe in geriatrics, without actually being in a geriatric ward. So yeah, it's really interesting.